Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jeff Anthony here at Palm Harbor Homes at the factory in Fort Worth. Uh, Last week I did a video regarding the land home process. And still received quite a bit of questions regarding the land home. As I had mentioned, when we do land home here at this location, I really ask you as the consumer to help me out in finding properties. Let's say that your real estate agents aren't helping you. There's a lot of resourceful tools that you can use. People will use like Zillow, Redfin, other Trulia, other websites that offer land or real estate listings. The one that I use mostly is Realtor.com. Reason I use Realtor.com is that it's actually attached to the MLS. So whatever's current, this is going to have that information there. So that way you're not looking at properties that have already been sold. It's just really current. So how do you search for land using Realtor.com? It's really easy. Obviously you want to put the town you want to be at. Right now I have Fort Worth as the location. The next thing you're going to look at are the filters. So here on the filters you're going to see price, property type, bedrooms, bath, listing status, more filters. So what I'll do is I'll actually go to property type, and you're going to see it says condo, multi-family home, a farm, single family home, townhome, mobile home, and land. So in this case, we're looking for land. So we're going to click on land. And as you can see, it's been filtered already. Okay. Other things you can do, in this case, I'm not going to filter, but you can, is the max price. Land itself has been pretty expensive. Typically, unimproved property, if there's no city water available, you typically are going to need about an acre for property. Most of that is in case that you have to put a well and a septic tank. You need to have 100 feet of separation between the water and your sewage plant. So typically that's why an acre is important. So right now on average, an acre is about 80 to 100,000 unimproved, and you're going to kind of see that here. So once again, all you're going to do is type in the town and go to the filter here and click land. Once that filters out, you can filter again for price. In this case, we're going to say nothing more than $120,000. Okay. So now, once again, it's refiltered the system here. The one thing we can't do is actually filter it to be like mobile home acceptable. Those things that it doesn't filter per se. What it's going to say, days on realtor, size of home, lot size. So on lot size, you can filter out all of that information. I'm not going to, in case that there is a half-acre parcel that has everything that you're needing. That's kind of what I would leave it at itself. Same thing with the quarter acre, in case that you're buying a single wide and you find a quarter acre that has light, water, sewer, all at the street level. You'll be able to look at those as well. So so let's look at these. We're like, oh, here's this lot. It's 35,000. It's 0.47. There looks to be a mobile home on there. It's pending. Oh no. Okay. That's how you're going to know whether or not this is available. Okay. Now let's go back. Oh, here you go. If you go to listing status, you can actually click hide pending and contingent sales. That way you can make sure you're looking at everything that's available for you. As you can see here, here's this 1.15 acre, 110,000. Let's look for a good lot here. So I'll just pick one lot in particular so you can see what I'm looking at. This is the one I was actually looking for. So this one's for sale. It's for $59,700. It's just short of a quarter of an acre. So when you pull it up, it's going to tell you, hey, there's 5 pictures on this home. These pictures aren't really the best of quality, but either way, it's going to show you some pictures. It's going to tell you where it's located. You can hit Google here, and it'll take you to a street view. You can go to satellite. That way you're like, okay, hey, it's literally located here. Let's say that this was a good livable lot. At least that way you can take a look at it and say, okay, I see where it's at now. Once you do that, just hit an X and it'll bring you back to the information. So this is what will help you. It's going to be property details. If you click on this, it's going to give you general information regarding the property itself, and then it kind of stops. What you want to do is click here where it says see more. If you click on that, it'll tell you the status is active, it's within city limits, and there's restrictions. There's an easement on the property. The mineral rights will be retained by the seller's agent. So it just gives you everything in detail regarding this property. Typically what I'll do on my end, and I highly recommend it, if we go back to maps and you hit the satellite view, if all you see in the surrounding area are traditional residential homes, more than likely that area is not zoned for a manufactured house. So at least that way when you're doing your search, you can look at that different stuff when it says like unknown restrictions. It's just that they happen to have not done their due diligence, or the realtor who's listing the property for the seller, that they truly just don't know. You can always call the county or the city and give them the address, and they'll be able to give you an answer regarding the property, whether or not it's zoned for manufactured home or modular. Let's see if I can find a good lot here. So you can see properties are really, really expensive right now. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I'll be able to answer them for you as best as possible. So right now I do have a client that's looking for a property. They want to be 80,000 or less, at least a half acre or more. So I'm looking for that right now. Now our location here, we cover Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Arizona, for people who already have land. So a lot of our day is taken up by virtual appointments where we're selling our homes to those areas. This is where I'm saying that we need your help. But the times that I have some gappage or a gap between appointments, typically I'll do this is try to find something. So right now, as far as Fort Worth, the filters that we don't have much available. So we'll say, hey, you know what? Let's look at Weatherford and see if anything comes up there. Weatherford has some great prices on these properties. Here's 5.85 acres for $75,000, 6.43 for $85,000. 2.3 for $75,000. So looking at this in comparisons to a 1 acre tract somewhere else, these are great prices. So let's just take a gander at this one that's at 5.85 acres for 75. That just sounds like a super sweet deal. Alright, so we'll take a look at the pictures. Lots of trees. My wife would love this property. She loves trees. Okay, so look at the pictures. We'll take a look at Google, see what's going on. Google says it can't find it, but it's obviously located around the Horseshoe Bend area on the Brazos River. So you can see here, just take a look at the area and be like, oh look, there's an area that has mobile homes on here. I don't believe this is the actual property itself that they're showing. I think but typically that's what we're going to look at. Say, okay, great. Let's say that this one does fit the details as far as when we look on there. Once again, you're just going to scroll down, click on property details. It's going to tell you this is 5.85 acres of property near the Brazos River. It features lots of mature trees, open space, allowing many options. Check it out to see this real beauty of it. Alright, so we want to go ahead and see the more information. So once again, it's just letting us know it's 5.85 acres. It's in a floodplain, so that's important. Things that we want to look at. There's no homeowners association, so cha-ching. We like that. It's even going to tell you the schools that are associated with this property. It's letting you know that the community features golf, so there may be a golf course nearby. So right now it's saying Parker County, no restrictions. This is what they know, okay? Possible use, mobile homes, man, this is a good one. Let's use this one. This property here. If you're tuning live and you're looking for property, I'm messing myself up here, but here we go. I am gonna go ahead and try to put this together, okay? So how do I build it? We know this property is $75,000 or 5.85. It's in a floodplain, which in our case that won't be too much of a big deal. It's a deal, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so let me open up Excel. Okay, so once again, this property here is available for manufactured housing. It's almost 6 acres for $75,000. This is listed by Remax Trinity. You'll see right here by Diane Steele. Isn't that an author? Like romantic movies and stuff like that, or books? Alright, so this is how you can kind of set everything up. So right now we know that your land, okay, we're looking at a budget of $75,000. Okay, and that's 5 acres. Right now, an acre, it's way more than that. So this is an outstanding deal, okay? Even if it's in a floodplain, I'm sure out of those 6 acres, we can find an area we can set the house and elevate it somewhere. You don't have to worry about it. And we have insurance available to cover any homes that are in a floodplain. Once again, if I'm speaking too fast, just let me know and I'll be happy to turn it down. So, alright, so we know land is so much. Right now we have a home, which is the hottest selling home, which is the Horizon 56 model. Okay, that home right now we sell for, I'm taking out my price book, guys. One thing I truly value is to give you accurate pricing and not just something out of okay, there we go, out of a hat. Okay, so right now this one's $147,799. This property is in Weatherford, so it's definitely within the 100 miles of our delivery service that's included in our base price and the setup. Okay, so right now, just on the home and land, And this is where typically our customers kind of figure like, okay, that's all I need to worry about. So I can get, oh, no, that's wrong. Should be B1. So we're looking at just the home and the land. You're looking at 122,799. Okay, and that's typically all you kind of leave it as, like, oh, hey, that I can do it. That sounds great. But the part that we have to remember is that most of these properties don't have water, electric. If there is water, it's typically you got to get a water meter, put that in. And this property we saw, it was just basically all trees, so it looks like you're gonna need to have all those things put in there. So what I'm about to use are just estimates. Okay, these are not hard numbers. Okay, so this is what we know. In that area, it's probably gonna be pretty solid rock in order for us to put the septic tank in. So we're gonna use an aerobic septic. So that one would probably be at the most about 12,500, and what that means is we're gonna use special machinery to break up the dirt and the rock so we can put the septic system in there. It also includes, in case that they require us to put a aerobic drip system in due to the high density of the terrain. So we're just going to use that number there. Now, to let you know, we do see septic tanks get as low as 7,500 on the aerobics, but I rather you kind of plan on the worst case scenario. So when you're budgeting things and when everything comes back, if it comes back lower, you're definitely not going to be disappointed. But even if you're 5,000, 10,000 over, you're going to be like, oh, okay, I guess it's more than what I wanted, but it's still reasonable. You're disappointed already, so don't do that to yourself. Plan on the worst case scenario for the home. So you have the aerobic system. The next thing we're going to look at is your water meter. Okay, your water meter, depending on which area that you're at, that can be like as little as $100 and as expensive as $4,500. Parker County, I think, is $2,500 last time we did one. So we're going to put $2,500 just for the water meter. Okay. All right. The electrical meter and pole. Okay. That typically within 100 feet from the street has usually cost us about 3,580. So we're going to run that number there. Okay. Now we need to connect those utilities to the home. That itself is about $2,850, and that includes the electric, the water, and the septic being connected to the house. Okay, so as of right now, super solid, doesn't include anything crazy. So this is a full-fledged, put together deal. I'm gonna go. So right now, with this property, if we're looking at a complete utility service, which is the septic, the water meter, the electric, the connections to the home and the 5 acres of land, we're looking at a total of $244,499. For under $250, you can get almost 6 acres of land, a home that's almost 1,700 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, for about $250. Right now, if you're looking at real estate, I can tell you, like, the home I live in, it's well over 10 years old. I think it's like 15 years old. I've had to pump money into that house just to get it into the modern age of things, and it's cost me, gosh, I want to say about $25,000 just to do that on there. And my house, you know, it appraises somewhere a little bit close to $300,000. But I mean, my house is 1,600 square feet. It's in a subdivision where I probably have a little bit under a tenth of an acre. It's super small property, not much on there. But you're looking at $50,000 more for my house, and I have a little bit of property. Where this, you can have almost 6 acres of land, and that's typically why people want to go the manufactured home route versus buying something in a subdivision. On top of not having to have an HOA, so having your neighbors spread out, and you being able to really just live a life where you kind of control everything. This is a great way of doing it. So on this home here, just based off of this transaction here, we're going to go ahead and take a look at what a payment may look like on something like that. So we're going to use the payment estimator by this lender here. Sorry about that. That was my login. We're going to look at your payment calculator, and we're going to be financing land and home finance. Okay? Let's go ahead and let's click on that. So this bank here offers a couple of different options. They give you FHA, VA, and then they give you the Cascade Conventional Portfolio Program. Right now we're going to look at the Portfolio Program. We'll come back to the other two here soon. And we're going to say that you'll be purchasing land, and you're buying a multi-section home, double wide or bigger. So on here we're going to say, hey, where does my credit run? Typically right now credit is running maybe anywhere between 600 to 649 as the national average. Then followed up between 650 to 699. Very rare do we see people with 700 and above, especially right now with so many people depending on credit. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the 600 to 649 range. So we know that deal there was just under 250. So we're going to say 250 for that price. All right. So according to Cascade Financial here on their programs on this conventional system, you're going to see 5% down, which is $12,500, with a monthly payment of $1,948.90. Okay, this is before taxes and insurance. Okay, so the more you put down, the lesser the payment is as you go. And here are the interest rates. Okay, so on this program itself, what this does is, in case that you don't want to pay mortgage insurance and you don't want the government involved in your transaction at all, and not spend any additional money that you don't want to do, like you're just straight up cool with the home being set up on a pad, tied down, vinyl skirting and steps that come with the home. This is probably the program you want to go with. The additional is in case that you go into an area that doesn't have a lot of manufactured homes being resold right now for the amount that you're actually trying to finance. This program comes into play. So those interest rates there are for someone that's at 600 to 650 is 8.05 with 5% down over 23 years. So having 7 years less in finance also causes this to kind of go up. So let's revise some of this, and we'll say that you actually have good credit. We're going to say not good, because that's what we did. We're going to say you have excellent credit. Okay. If you're wanting to play with this calculation here, let me go ahead and put that link on here for you. That way you can go on there and start working with different budgets, and you can kind of get a general idea of what your payments are going to be before your taxes and insurance. But as we can see, with 5% down with someone with really great credit, that payment came like $300 less than someone who has, basic credit. So if we look at that, you go from 8% to 5% interest rate over 23 years. Once again, no mortgage insurance that comes with it. So once again, a lot better. Okay. Now, because I know a lot of you are focused on the low interest rate, so let's go ahead and let's look at what it would take to get those current rates that you're seeing in traditional or traditional housing. Okay. Anytime that we have to go with an FHA deal, there's certain things, FHA or VA, that require us to do. One is a foundation for the home. This foundation is going to estimate at about $10,000, and that's going to be a piered foundation. Okay. The next thing is they're going to require us to do hardwood skirting to the home. For this home, we're probably looking about $5,500. Let me open that so you guys can see that. Okay. After the hardwood skirting, you're gonna need decks. Typically, they're 4x4 decks. This has 2 entries on here because they require inspections and concrete to be sat down and all those good things. This is probably going to cost us about $1,500 per entry, so we're going to put $3,000 on there. So and then you have your inspections. Okay, and this includes your blower test. This includes foundation prints. This includes the final surveys and things like that are associated to your transaction for the FHA or VA. And typically that's I'm sorry, not 35, it's 2,500. Okay. All right. So just on the additional cost that we see by going this way, you're going to add about $21,000 more than you had to on just going with the traditional conventional loan itself. But so what I would say, if you were going to, if you weren't sure if you're going to go FHA or go the other one, I always use, if we're going to average this, and this is a real good detail of what it's going to come out to, unless you have like, oh snap, I know what I forgot. See, sometimes this is what happens when you're doing live videos. You forget things, but I'm glad I did it before. You're going to need a driveway and culverts if needed. Typically, they're not super expensive, but there is some cases where the county or the township that you're at requires the culvert to be made 100% of concrete. When we get there, guess what? It's going to be almost just the same cost as what that foundation is. Concrete is not cheap right now. So, but on a normal situation, you basically want to say cost of land is going to be X amount of dollars for average. So in this case, let's just use the $75,000 as far as the land average. Then you're going to have your site work. Okay, so you're probably going to average about $45,000 to $46,000 in just the site work if you go with the FHA program. Okay, so 75 plus 45, your initial cost on just the land development itself before the home, you're going to be looking about $120. Okay, so let's look at this deal that you put together going FHA. What are we looking at as the ultimate number for our transaction before finance fees and so such? Is that even a word, so such? I'm kind of making up things, sorry about that. So right now, for 5 acres of land, your 1,700 square foot manufactured home, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 2 living rooms, complete turnkey operation, you're looking at $278,999 under an FHA program. Okay, so let's go back to here. this is your program based on the non-FHA deal with 5% down gives you a 5.8 interest rate. And this is if you have like superb credit. Okay, so let's restart everything. Okay, oh no, land home, FHA and VA are gonna be almost exactly the same. I'll do the VA right now too. The numbers will be exactly the same as far as cost. They require the same thing. And we're going to say you're at a good credit because it doesn't change really much. And it was 270. Okay. I'm going to say 270. Look at that payment. Like, what? What are we talking about? Okay. So this payment is over 30 years with an interest rate of 3.3 interest rate. Now this is a construction loan. I talked about that in my video last week. So if you haven't watched that, just go back to the page, look for that. Gives you just a general explanation what a construction loan is. Okay, so this is principal and interest. And you're going to read right down here at the bottom and say, please note that these estimates are principal and interest payments only. Applicable homeowner insurance, property taxes, and mortgage insurance may apply. Okay, so let's take a look at what that may come out to be. So, as we know, property taxes in the state of Texas are pretty high. So, let's say that on this manufactured home on this land, you're looking at $5,000 in property tax a year. Okay. Okay, so that's like almost $400 in your payment on just the property taxes. The insurance, let's say we're gonna say like 23 or no 2,500 because of the floodplain. Okay, that's like $200 more a month. So just right there, that's $600. Then you have mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance is basically a payment that's given back to the government to secure the note that you have, which allows the government to offer more of these programs to other people. Okay, so when we look at this program here, you're probably looking about an extra $150 payment on there. So in total, your what they call escrow account may be like an additional $700. Okay, so looking at this here and going this route, we're going to be somewhere about $1,900 a month on your payments. I know that what I just said sounded like foreign language, alien language. I would love to break it down for you guys, but the fact that I'm not licensed, I can't really talk much about that. But you do have to pay taxes on your property. You do have to pay insurance to maintain the loan itself, and then the mortgage insurance. So typically that's what kills you on a FHA deal. Okay, so let's look at that. But I mean, the interest rates are phenomenal. 3.35. I'm sorry, 3.375 is on there. So let's look at the VA. So interest rate, exact same. We're looking at the exact same thing. Now, here's the difference between VA and an FHA deal. For you veterans, you don't have mortgage insurance. You're going to have something that's called a funding fee that gets rolled into your overall cost and finance fees. So it'll be built in there, but it's not to the extent of the VA loan itself or the FHA deal, so you don't have that mortgage insurance in there. But as you can see, the interest rates are 3.375 over 30 years. With no money down, you're at $1,289 15. So the VA, you do have 0% down payment. It's where FHA is 3.5%, and any other conventional loan will be a 5% program. So this is a good program. No down, no mortgage insurance. So really good program for you veterans out there that want to do a land home package. Alright, so if we were looking at this, there used to be like a payment calculator thing here. There we go. We're going to change this up a little bit. 30-year fixed. We're going to say 270 was the number. I'm going to say 0. 3.35, 3.3575. Alright, so here we go. Actually, this gives us the payments based on what the taxes of this property and what your insurance. This needs to be changed. This is going to be about an extra $100. So really, you're going to be at a $1,600 payment on this home here. That's pretty awesome, right? But when we went back to the, oh wait, did I have that right? Yeah, I did. Okay. I was like, oh no. 3.5%. Yeah, so I was pretty close when I said about $1,900 on an FHA deal, because like I mentioned, your home insurance is going to be like $159. So $1,806 on something that you're financing at $270,000, which was this package that we put together. So overall, I mean, this is something that you get to own versus renting. I know a lot of you are paying this much in rent already, but at least this way gives you a great idea of what you're going to end up financing a home for the next 30 years would be. And I found this information here on Realtor.com, as you can see. So it's not just things that I'm kind of pulling out of my hat. They're a great resource tool to find out information about this property. Once again, this property here has no restrictions, and it's predominantly used for mobile homes and other residential housing. It's just in a floodplain, but it's $75,000. I'm not going to show this to my wife. She would want me to buy it. Yeah, no. But let's check out how far it is. It's in Weatherford. So it's South Weatherford. It's in between Weatherford. So really, this is where it's at. Here is Horseshoe Bend. So, now a lot of you guys like going out fishing. Sorry about that. Bad habit. Alright guys, well, I know most of you are at work. I do appreciate you. For those who end up watching this video, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I'm going to put my email on here. Typically this was the part that people were asking me tons of questions on, is how do you find land, and how does it get all financed together? How's the package put together? So just a quick synopsis. The best resource for you to find property is on Realtor.com. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you get logged in. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and perfect Weatherford. We're gonna hit search. You just type in what town you're looking for land at. Okay, go to property types and click on land, and done. And that's going to filter all that information for you on land. Okay, let's say that you want to filter max price. Okay, you can put 100,000 or less. Boom, filters it for you. Okay, this is the property that we just looked at. Let's say that we hadn't looked at it. You're just gonna click on it. You're gonna research it. But once again, you're like, well, how do I know I can put a manufactured home on there? You're just gonna go to property details and click see more. This is where all the information is gonna tell you whether or not you can put a manufactured home there or a modular home on there, if there's any restrictions, if there's any kind of improvements to the property. It'll let you know everything that's down here. So, okay, so that's how you look for land. Okay, and so that's the easy. Now, what kind of costs are we looking at as far as putting a land and home package together? Typically, once you find the land, you know, use a spreadsheet or even just a piece of paper. You know, you're like, okay, hey, here, I found a piece of property for $75,000. The manufactured home I'm looking at, you know, you can get price quotes from me. All you gotta do is call me or register with me, and I'll get you a price quote out to you. This one's $147,799, and then the property, you know, oh, it's bare. What do I need to put on there? Once again, if you didn't go VA or FHA, you would be looking at foundation, be looking at water meters, electrical meters, and connections. You know, that's about almost $22,000 more that you need to add. But let's say you do go VA or FHA, you know, that's an additional $24,500 on top of this number here. That gives you about $268,000. So the good thing is that it's here. You can use these numbers whether you decide to buy from good old Tony or you decide to buy somewhere else. This is going to be pretty accurate, and it may be a little bit higher than what you may expect. But the best thing is, like, let's say that it comes back and we're 15 grand less. I doubt you're gonna yell at me for being $15,000 less. I know I've lost deals to great customers because the property came back that we needed more in cost than we expected. And guys, that sucks. It sucks because it breaks your heart. It breaks your heart when you figure like, wow, that's just too much cost. So at least this way, if you set it up this way and you're like, hey, I can get into a manufactured house on 5 acres of land with 1,700 square foot, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 2 living room, floor plan, the hottest selling home called the Horizon 56, and be under $270,000. That's pretty good, because the alternative is going out and buying a site built home on 5 acres of land for over $500,000. So we're still half the cost, half the payment. It's just why people are choosing to do this route on here. So, of course, is it more than what we've ever seen before? Absolutely, but that's the way our country runs. I remember when I first got my truck back in 1992. We spent for, an LTZ, top of the line, 1500 Chevy showcase model, like 19 grand. Right now, if you can even find that a truck like that, you're paying $60,000-$70,000 for that. So once again, it's the same thing. It's a truck. It has everything the same. Yeah, but it has more chips now. Blah 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 blah. As things improve, cost goes up, and so forth. So, but at least this way, it gives you a general idea how we put a land home package together and what we do. So, if one of you really like that 5 acres here, once again, Diane Steele, I think it's Steele. I'm bad with last names. I can barely read as it is. But anyways, give her a shout. You can find her information down here at the bottom. You can email her. You can call the brokerage right here, 817-310-5200. Give them a call and tell them that you're interested in this property. Now, here's the thing. You guys got to get financed, because realtors right now are not going to be willing to help you if you don't have a approval already in hand. So part of the link that we have on the first one is the payment estimator. The second one is my email, and this third comment is going to be the actual link that you can apply with Cascade Financial for any of these programs. My mortgage officer, her name is Mary Ann Levy, and she's the bomb, guys. She's really good about returning calls, giving us answers, trying to turn over every rock that comes to getting a program put together. She's as motivated to get you in a home as I am. So yeah, that's where we're at, and we'll talk to you guys later. Appreciate you. As always, I love you. God loves you. Be safe.